Okay, so this is your trigger warning because I'm going to be speaking about a very sensitive topic, Celeste, and other cases like hers. Not only that, but this is also your trigger warning because you might not like what I have to say. Now, Celeste, Naziah Harris, Emily Pike, these incidents are occurring because our communities do not care enough about the most vulnerable. Our communities are not prioritizing talking about these subjects. They rather talk about Charlie Kirk. They rather go out and protest over ICE and not about the 320,000 missing children in the USA that came through the border without a parent. People will rather go out and protest over George Floyd, but not Naziah Harris. People prioritize certain things over other critical issues within our communities that are really affecting us. And missing children is one of them. Before we can even begin talking about Celeste, Naziah Harris, and how people around them failed them, that's very important. How people did not go out and report criminals. How people wanted to protect criminals. How people are failing our most vulnerable. Before we can even begin talking about these cases, we have to talk about the overall environment. To FBI National Crime Information Centers, 360,000 children a year go missing. However, the National Conference of State Legislators, NCSL, estimates between 1.5 million to 2.6 million children and adolescents run away each year. Now, even with the 360,000 children that were reported, that's still 1,000 children every single day, let alone 1.5 million to 2.6 million. 59% of all missing children are persons of color. According to this article, childidprogram.com, 3.5% of missing persons in the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System were indigenous people. However, they only make up 1.3% of the USA population. These are issues that are going to continue to happen because our people don't care enough to go out and protest, go out and talk about these issues. They rather talk about Charlie Kirk and how he's a racist, even though Charlie Kirk wanted to talk about these issues because, again, he wanted to talk about the dysfunction because the dysfunction is affecting a lot of the people within our communities. And the more we continue to turn away, the more we continue to talk about the wrong things, Naziah Harris, Celeste, other little girls, other little boys are also going to continue to be victims. And I want to make it very clear, it's not just little girls that are victims, it's also little boys. There is this huge adultification that occurs also with little boys in our communities that we don't talk about. Sukihana, she is a woman that many women love. However, she was literally twerking on a little boy. Women like her should never be famous. And don't you think that women like Meg Thee Stallion twerking in a Toy Story theme music video, don't you think that's inappropriate? Don't you think that is blurring the lines between what is appropriate for a child and what is appropriate for an adult? Parents especially should be worried about what type of content is being pushed out, especially when it comes to these celebrities. Lana Del Rey is another example of how she pushed a lot of Lolita themes. However, that is very heavily inappropriate and that should have never been allowed. There is a connection between child abduction and the internet. In fact, again, according to childidprogram.com, according to 2021 data from the National Human Trafficking Hotline, there were 354 runaways and homeless victims of human trafficking. The internet was a location for 65% of victim recruitment. When it comes to online enticement, this is communicating with a child online with the intent to sexually exploit or abduct them. And in 2024, October 5th, through the NCMEC, they received 456,000 reports of online enticement. Reports to NCMEC of online enticement increased by 300% between 2021 and 2023. Victims of online enticement were found to be younger when compared to overall missing peers. 59% involving children under 15 years old. And according to their article, 26% of participants stated their traffickers exploited them via their own personal social media in a survey by Polaris Project of Human Trafficking Survivors. There has been already so much dysfunction in our communities. For example, feminism was supposed to be a movement that brought great opportunities. However, now we see how mothers are not at home enough, and this is allowing for criminals to have the opportunity to abduct children or to target children, because again, mothers are not in the home and mothers are not supervising their children like they used to. And now a lot of policies are trying to be pushed in order to continue to give criminals second chances, third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances, even to the point where in Chicago, the mayor is actively pushing against Trump, trying to stop these criminals from, again, terrorizing the most vulnerable, women and children. 40% of sex trafficking victims in the USA are Black people. In Louisiana, Black girls account for 49% of sex trafficking cases, despite being 19% of the population. In King County, Washington, 84% of child sex trafficking victims are Black girls, despite being 7% of the population. This is occurring because there's so much dysfunction as it is. We need to talk about these issues because our children deserve better. Our children deserve to be raised in healthy environments where people care about them, where people are not just gonna neglect them, and most importantly, where they're going to not protect criminals.